I've reached the top. I've lifted countless trophies, broken records, heard my name chanted by thousands, seen the confetti rain down on me in the biggest stadiums in the world. They call me GOAT. They call me legend. They call me untouchable. And yet none of that prepared me for the solitude. None of that prepared me for the price I pay for being the best. Because when you win, people expect you to win always. They don't see the hours I wake up before the sun, the body that aches from every muscle screaming after training, the nights I lie awake questioning if the goal I missed will come back to haunt me tomorrow. As I once said, in football I don't have a lot of friends. Most of the time I am alone. I feel disconnected from the world, not because I want to be, but because I must be. The distance is both a shield and a sentence. When I was a boy on the island of Madeira, poverty wasn't just a story, it was every day. My father had his demons, I carried mine. I left home at 12 to 13 to chase a dream. But living didn't mean escaping pain, it meant carrying it onward, with fans roaring and cameras flashing. The hunger didn't end when I signed the big contract. It shifted from hunger for goals to hunger for respect to hunger for peace. Because fame is a double-edged sword. As I once admit, I never want to be famous. It's boring, trust me. When you're famous, every smile is public, every mistake magnified. Your rest is interrupted. Your life becomes permissionless. People like their heroes on the field. They cheer at goals, they raise their phones, celebrations, they buy jerseys, but they don't want to see the broken moments. The body clock set to win, the isolation after loss, the endless preparation, nobody applauds. I've said your love makes me strong, your hate makes me unstoppable. Because yes, the love of the fans lifts you, but the hate, the criticism, the whispers that you finished, that you arrogant, that you don't care, that is the fuel you learn to bottle inside. But let me tell you, converting hate into strength isn't easy. It's like taking a wound and turning it into a badge, and every badge carries scar tissue. When I stood in the tunnel before a big match, I've looked up at the thousands of fans, the flags, the roar, and I felt the familiar adrenaline. But I've also felt a weird kind of emptiness, because those moments don't cancel the nights when I wake up, wondering, is this still enough? Am I still enough? Because the minute you stop asking those questions, someone younger is coming to ask them of you. Being the best is not a destination, it's a daily race. And the crowd applauds the finish line, but they rarely see that there is no finish line. When I left Manchester United the first time, I was full of fire. When I signed for Real Madrid, I said I conquer Europe. When I arrived in Saudi Arabia with Al Nassr, I said the game would change, the trophies came, the goals came. But somewhere along the way, the trapdoor opened, success is assumed, expectations shift. It used to be, will he score? Now is, will he fail? It used to be, can he win? Now is, why didn't he win? The angle flips, the burden changes. And I ask myself now, how do I keep going when everyone else says I should be done? When the newspapers say I'm finished, when they say I'm past my peak, when they whisper about aging. I told them there are people out there who hate me and who say I'm arrogant, vain, and whatever. That's all part of my success. I am made to be the best. But that doesn't make the hate easy. Because every time you step onto the pitch, you carry the weight of a legacy, not just your own, but every expectation that's built behind you, coaches, teammates, nations, childhood you. And what you carry inside is often invisible. I wake up before others. My body still aches from seasons of demands that didn't stop when the whistle blew. Recovery sessions, nutrition, visualization, sacrifices others don't understand. I often speak about effort. Talent without working hard is nothing. But what that phrase doesn't show is the cost. The friends who drifted away, the dinner skipped, the childhood I sacrificed, the normal life I traded for stadium lights. I don't have many friends in football. I don't have many people I really trust. Because when you are at the top, you start to measure people differently. Do they respect you without your jersey or only when you're wearing it? I once said, in football, I don't have a lot of friends. The people who I really trust, they're not many. Most of the time I'm alone. And that solitude is heavy because you're surrounded by people and yet you feel apart. It's weird when the roar of the crowd fades and the lights go down and you're alone in your hotel room, just you and your thoughts, asking what next. People expect your next goal, next contract, next highlight. They don't expect your silent pressure. They don't expect the nervousness before a penalty. They don't expect the moment you look at the scoreboard and you see another record broken and inside you feel empty because you wanted more than just records. You wanted meaning because when you are labeled the best, being good isn't good enough anymore. You need to be flawless. Others are allowed mistakes, you're not. And if you do make a mistake, there's no forgiveness. I wanted to be remembered as someone who could do it all. I once said I don't have to show anything to anyone. There is nothing to prove. But the irony is that you do keep proving every season, every match, every sprint, because fans don't remember yesterday's win when today's headline is about your age. I want to be clear. This is not a pity piece. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm explaining the truth behind the headlines. The trophies, the Instagram post, the brand deals, all of it looks glamorous. But glamour is often the cover story. When I see a young player posting about how to be like CR7, I smile because yes, I built this, but I also ask, are you ready for it? Are you ready for the silence, for the criticism, for the nights when the only voice you hear is your own demanding more? I stand here today with all these years behind me and I still feel that fire. I still feel the hunger. I still train at 5 a.m. I still correct sprint form. I still count macros for dinner. People see the body, but they don't see the mind that never turns off. Because being the best is in a moment is a lifestyle of self-doubt, self-discipline, and self-expectation. And that lifestyle can be lonely. I made the decision to push myself still further while others stood still. I said long ago, without discipline, talent is of no use. I watch younger players leap ahead while I studied their hunger, their fear, their moment of doubt, and I thought, what will I do when I'm 35, 36, 37, and people say, I'm finished? That was the engine, not the goals, not the trophies, but the idea that I would keep going when others stopped. Because I believe pressure is a part of what I do. If you're not feeling pressure, then you're not challenging yourself. And yes, the pressure builds over time. The first contract, the first wage increase, the first glory all come with celebration. But then the lens changes. You are no longer the youngster with something to prove. You are the legend with everything to lose. Criticism sneaks in. I've heard the words arrogant, vain, finish. I said, there are people out there who hate me and who say I'm arrogant, vain, and whatever. That's all part of my success. I am made to be the best. In the early years, I thought pushing alone was my path. Now I know that silence is the cost of high achievement. The more success, the less you speak. Because if you speak, they analyze. If you breathe, they question. I learned discipline wasn't about 2-hour workouts or flashy press moments. It was about the 4 a.m. alarm, the repeated kicks after the official session, the diets when the world partied, the ice bath when the world rested. As I recently shared, for me, it is not a sacrifice. Sometimes you don't want to go to the gym, but I go because I have a promise to myself. Every day of training, waiting, and recovery is invisible. Every moment lost with friends or family, every normal night of rest you gave up, you traded. Because being the best isn't just about showing up on match day. It's showing up when no one watches. I can still picture the quiet after a defeat. No camera flashes, no roar of applause, just me, my thoughts, the doubt that crept in. Did I do enough? Was I letting them down? The moment you break that silence, you admit you're human and the world may notice. In one interview, I admitted in football I don't have a lot of friends. The people who I really trust are few. Most of the time I'm alone. Loneliness is a side effect of being exceptional. You start to know that while a crowd can lift you, it can also abandon you. You learn you must rely ultimately on yourself. And the paradox, you're surrounded by people. Trainers, agents, staff, media, fans. Yet, the part of you that matters is interior. When I beat a personal record or scored a crucial goal, part of me asks, what's next? Because success becomes the baseline. Once felt incredible, now it feels expected. So the joy of triumph is mixed with the dread of expectation. I said early on, talent isn't everything. You can have it from the cradle, but it is necessary to learn the trade to be the best. The trade is relentless. Media will carry your image, but they don't live your nights. They don't know the faces you missed or the birthdays you skipped. I remember one time I locked myself in a dark room, refused dinner, and talked to myself after missing a penalty. That was the cost of wanting to be faultless. When you're at the top, missing becomes magnified and you carry those moments with you long after the cameras have left. Still, I embrace it. Because the price of being the best is a price I willingly pay. I said, I cannot live obsessed with what other people think about us. It is impossible to live like that. So I chose the path of internal standards, not external applause. I decided that waking up when it hurts, training when others rest, believing when others fear, that is the system, my system. Yet it's not glamorous. It's silence before dawn. It's the anxiety before a match, the tension of legacy between the stadium and the hotel. I carry the question, do I still belong? Every time I step on the field, I hear a voice. Here we go again, you expect it to deliver. That voice never turns off. Because winning once changes the tone, now people wait for you to lose. Nevertheless, I keep going. I don't just exist in the moment, I exist ahead of it. I said, the secret of my success, I have no secrets. For me, the key is determination and hard work. People ask how I stayed relevant, how I remain at peak performance into later years of my career. I reply, because the moment you relax, someone younger will sharpen. I recently shared, the most important thing is to have a routine. Consistency is good, not obsession. The point is continuity. Longevity is the final fight. I have learned to love the solitude because in the silence, I hear what the crowd cannot. I hear the promises I made to myself. We don't want to tell our dreams. We want to show them. The price of being the best is that you stop dreaming for external reward. You dream for personal truth. You stop counting trophies. You count whether your body and mind still obey the rules you set. And if one day I walk off the pitch for good, I will walk off not because my legs said stop, but because I said stop. Until that moment, I keep the fire, I keep the hunger, I keep the system. Because being the best is not a title, it is a mindset. A mindset that demands cost, solitude, sacrifice, and continual renewal. So to you who watch and hope know this, when people see the goals, the highlights, the celebrations, know that behind each is a shadow, a silent promise, a night of discipline, a year of sacrifice, a moment of doubt confronted, a world expecting your failure so you might prove it wrong. And when you see me stand ready, suit on, tongue out, hand raised, don't just see the winner, see the man who paid the price, because I did. And I will keep paying it until the lights fade, until the last whistle, until I choose that I've done enough.